Texoma's news leader, local, in-depth, community. You're watching KFDX-TV News at 10 in high definition.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Erin Minihan. Gwen and Daryl have the night off. Wichita County investigators are trying to figure out why a woman found lying in an apartment complex parking lot had severe burns on the upper half of her body. Police and Wichita County Sheriff's deputies say they were called out to the 500 block of Fillmore around 12:30 this morning. That's where they say they found a 22-year-old woman in the parking lot of the Timbers Apartments. They say that woman was burned from the torso up. Officers on scene say at this time they don't know if those wounds were self-inflicted or caused by someone else. The woman was taken by ambulance to the hospital, where she was airlifted to Parkland Hospital in Dallas. Her condition is unknown at this time. We'll bring you the latest information as soon as it becomes available. Officials say they're taking more steps to ending child abuse in Texoma thanks to a state grant. Patsy's House Children's Advocacy Center is one of just 18 in the state of Texas to receive mobile forensic interview equipment through a grant from the Governor's Office Criminal Justice Division. Traditionally, alleged victims travel to centers like Patsy's House to talk to trained forensic interviews about abuse they've suffered. But that's not always easy. Some alleged victims live in rural areas, can't afford the trip, or are hospitalized. The new equipment allows the interviewers to travel to the victims and include a video camera, a specifically equipped laptop, and microphone, everything they need to conduct an interview.
So it's just going to help us, not just in Wichita County, but in all the other counties, be able to provide that access to justice for children that may have no other way to get to that. And as well, just allow us to respond more quickly in those heightened cases that need a faster response.
Patsy's House staff received training on the new equipment at the Children's Advocacy Centers of Texas office in Austin this past week, so they can start using it immediately. They're our nation's greatest heroes, and they've seen and been through experiences on the front lines that many of us can't even imagine. Today in Graham, a nonprofit organization hosted an event to bring joy to local Wounded Warriors weekends. Ivan Gibson was there for the second annual Operation Kick Some Bass fishing tournament. He brings us this report.
It's a calm Saturday out on the water of Lake Edelman in Graham. That's where Freedom Care Warrior Project representatives hosted an event to take Wounded Warriors' minds off their current situation.
And so as a nonprofit, we want to find ways that we can include the community, not all the time, but at fundraisers like this, we have the opportunity to bring kids out, bring families out, so people understand the sacrifices that our warriors have made.
In a boat, they become anglers. All the titles go away, all the hierarchy goes away. They become anglers and they become human beings, which is what we all are. And so I'm impressed by it. And I get choked up over it. It's pretty special to us.
Wichita Falls resident Bob Dean became an angler for the day, along with 62 other veterans.
But it was a great day. All the boaters were courteous. Everybody going by and asking how you doing, and I'd love to do it again.
The fishing event is for Wounded Warriors, but some of them did the behind-the-scenes work too. Brent Holman is the tournament director. A veteran himself, he says he wanted to organize the event to put smiles on fellow veteran faces.
It's just, I can't stop smiling. Once this tournament got going, I could take a deep breath, knowing that I got this done, and it's been a success.
The highlight of the day, driving into the Graham's downtown square, where community members showed their appreciation of the veterans, and the newly trained anglers
See what we've got here.
weighed in their catch of the day. Ivan Gibson, KFDX-3 News.
Their Warrior Project hosts multiple events for Wounded Warriors each year, and many of those events are out at their ranch in Graham. Today, Charlie Thornberry farmers proved their fruits and vegetables are good for more than just eating. Volunteers from the Shepherd Air Force Base Dining Hall used the food to show off their creativity. As lookers passed, they had the chance to see the many different figures the ladies created, including flowers, birds, and fish. They carved squash, potatoes, watermelons, and more, making them into beautiful works of art. Volunteers say they were happy to show just how creative they could be with the non-traditional art supplies.
I'm just so happy to see that everybody come in here and enjoy our work, and so we like it very much.
And if you haven't had the chance to load up on fresh fruits and veggies at the market, time is running out. Next weekend is the last Saturday the market will be open this year. And let's head over to Skip in the Weather Center. So Skip, when are things going to cool off? Because we're still in the 90s.
Yeah, that won't last long. Another couple of days, things are going to start to cool considerably. What we haven't seen the last day or two are clouds, but if you look outside right now and look south, there are some clouds coming in from the south. That means moisture returns to Texoma. So, Erin, not only do we have cooler weather coming, it looks like Saturday could be downright wet for most, if not all, of Texoma, pushing into early Sunday as well. Full forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes, just for you folks. Sorry.
I'm hoping we're going to see a lot more rain like we did last week.
We certainly could. In fact, we could see excess of 3 inches possible in places. Not everybody, but in places.
Well, my fingers are crossed, Skip.
Right.
Thank you. A little compost in your garden would sure hold on to the rain we got yesterday. And the city of Wichita Falls is offering you the chance to learn to make your own. Local master composters and Call for Compost are starting backyard composting and master composer training sessions. Beginning next week, organizers say the class will teach residents how to make top-notch compost right in their own backyards. The first compost class is Tuesday at 6 p.m. Classes will continue Tuesday and Thursday evenings through September and October, and will be at the City Sanitation Office at 200 Sunset Drive, next to the entrance of Lucy Park. All are welcome to attend, and for more information, you can call that number right on your screen, 761-7977. Is your kid the next Tony Romo? If you think so, head on out to Memorial Stadium tomorrow afternoon. That's where the city's Parks and Rec Department is hosting an NFL punt, pass, and kick competition. Registration starts at 1 in the afternoon, and the competition starts at 1:30. Both boys and girls can participate. Each participant must be accompanied by a legal guardian and bring a copy of their birth certificate. First place winners will advance to the sectional competition in Abilene. And after the break, Skip McBride is in with your full weather forecast. And later, in just 9 days, the government will run out of money to pay its bills. So what does that mean? We'll take a look coming up.
You're watching KFDX-3 News in HD.
Welcome back. In Washington today, Congress and the President are facing another spending crisis and another fight over health care reform. House Republicans passed a budget that would effectively kill Obamacare, and that is expected to be rejected this coming week by Senate Democrats. Congress has a little more than a week to pass a budget or face the very real possibility of a government shutdown until a compromise can be found. Brian Moore has the story from Capitol.
With Congress locked in another showdown over spending, President Obama is telling lawmakers to put aside their political differences and pass a budget.
We're running out of time to fix this, but we could fix it tomorrow. Both houses of Congress can take a simple vote to pay our bills on time, then work together to pass a budget on time.
On the table. The House passed a spending bill on Friday, but it defunds the president's health care plan.
This legislation is in the Senate, and it is now, the ball is in Harry Reid's court to keep this government open. The clerk will read it.
The Senate, controlled by Democrats, and the president are not about to go along. That leaves 9 days to work out a plan, or Uncle Sam stops paying the bills, and the wheels of government come to a screeching halt.
They want to shut the government down and force the president to stop his health care bill.
The Senate may strip out the part of the budget that defunds Obamacare and bounce the bill back to the House. Meanwhile, the clock is ticking down to October 1st. Brian Moore, NBC News, Washington.
The Florida woman who became known for her uncontrollable hiccuping was found guilty of first-degree murder last night. 22-year-old Jennifer Mee cried as the guilty verdict was read in the Clearwater courtroom. Mee was then sentenced to life in prison without parole. Officials say she lured 22-year-old Shannon Griffin to an abandoned street Pittsburgh house in October 2010 under the pretense of buying marijuana. Officials say once Griffin arrived, he was robbed at gunpoint by 2 of Mee's friends. Griffin struggled and was shot 4 times. Mee gained national attention when she suffered from prolonged hiccups in 2007. Last month, Mee's co-defendant, Laren Rayford, was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Lamont Newton, the other co-defendant, has not yet gone to trial. And we're going to hang over to Tobin McDuff, and I heard an MSU athlete is rewriting the records books.
Oh, Kedrick Jackson has been so much fun to watch this season. He is rewriting the record books. We'll talk more about that next in sports.
The catwalk belonged to the dogs yesterday in Buenos Aires. Argentine designer Karen Reichart presented her latest canine designs. Her spring-summer collection for 2014 featured lots of fuchsia and greens. Reichart said she always looks for the light fabrics so the dogs will be comfortable during the summer weather. The collection also featured pinstripe suits for dogs in white.
I promise you, if I tried to get my dog to dress like that, he would divorce me. There's no way he would wear that.
My dog wouldn't either.
No.
Skip dresses like that every once in a while, though.
He does.
Occasionally, just occasionally. We're waiting for the rain, and it's headed this direction. We're talking about temperatures in the mid-80s by Saturday. The rain probably starting late Friday. Best chance will be Saturday, and let's up that to about 70 to 80%. There could be some heavier rain in association, and then tapering off by Sunday afternoon. The system is going to slow down, and then we go back to seasonal normal and maybe another chance of rain toward the end of next week.
My fingers are crossed.
Don't ever try to write with your fingers crossed. It doesn't work that way.
Or try to type either.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you guys. Thanks for joining us.